1 set to 15 sets. And we do over 500 restoration purely from ceramic. So we mainly just use full ceramic or zirconia material. And this is the normal life in my clinic every working day. The dentist and technician are all around with CEREC because patients want these kinds of treatment. CEREC is not only do the tooth restoration, that include implant, and now we can use CEREC to do the in-office aligner, not Invisalign. We can align the teeth by the AutoCAD by ourselves because we have 3 very special orthodontic specialists. So this dentist can manage the AutoCAD to produce the predictable tooth movement. And then we can use the 3D printer to print not only the model, but also the aligner too, with the class 2 degree material. So we can do 1 prosthodontic treatment, 2 implantology treatment, and the 3rd is also treatment. And I want to introduce my team in this year's the whole journey of this year. This is a look back. stand here to represent my whole team because it's a whole team effort. So let me proceed to today's topic. This patient want to replace the two old veneer because it looked unnatural. These were also made by other dentists with CEREC in the same day. Who or what do you think caused these veneers to look unnatural? Dentist, technician, or CEREC? Most will quickly blame CEREC first, and then material that was chosen by technician and technician skill. But actually, many of the reasons why restoration do not fit come down to dentists. For example, the margin is exposed and did not fit. You can see here, did not fit to the end. That is because the uneven and not smooth tooth preparation. So the key factor is tooth preparation. If tooth preparation is not performed according to some important steps, no matter how good your material selection, design in CEREC and stain and glaze, it will still fall in aesthetic and biology. The first is tooth preparation, and comes the material selection. These two central look white and opaque, and not fit with the rest of her teeth. This material is Emax, which is commonly used in KKM dentistry regardless its weakness in aesthetics. The main reason we use this material is because of its strength. The consequence of using this material for all scenarios is that it will not meet the needs of some patients. Combination of these two common errors, tooth preparation and material selection, it will lead to some issue. For example, this is the tooth preparation. We can see the irregular margin here in the distal side, and we can zoom in. You can see that irregular margin. It will cause open margin no matter what materials you select. That is mainly because of materials chipping during milling process. In that scenario, you will feel the rocking when you try in and lead to misalign during bonding. So when we zoom in, you can see here is all the open margin zone, and you need to bond to fill this gap. After bonding, the junction is obvious and patient may not unsatisfied or upset. Again, the color is too opaque and does not match the adjacent teeth. So here's the point. We all want to have a nice looking restoration from CEREC. For example, like this one. The so-called nice looking restoration is divided into two surfaces, outer surface and inner surface. The inner surface depends on dentist tooth preparation to make the margin fit. And the outer surface depends on your design and post-milling procedure like stain and glaze. And the biomimetics aesthetic is the combination of your correct material selection, the inner surface, and the outer surface. So let's start from the outer surface. When we talk about the biomimetic in chairside KKM dentistry, we always start from the outer surface and go into the inner surface. We call the margin seal or the fitness of that restoration. Outer first surface, it can be concluded in 5 features: the outline form, line angle, transition zone, developmental groove, lobe, and transverse groove. We need to keep in mind, when we look at these teeth, you just look at 2 components. The one, outline form, and the second, line angle only. You need to understand the mesial line angle here is decreased, is in the incisal third, and almost parallel to this long axis. And the mesial line angle on the apical third is far away from this point compared to distal line angle. We can see the real mark-up, the real waist up. This is the outline form. This is the distance between the outline form to the line angle. The mesial line angle is more close to outline form than distal line angle. If you have this concept, keep in mind, you look in serrae. The serrae generate the tooth proposal. We call this biogenetic individual, or the so-called biojaw. And the serrae just give us outline form. You can clearly see this outline form, but just a little line angle here. And the next point is transition zone. The distal transition zone is larger than mesial transition zone. That will make your anterior restoration more vivid. So in conclusion, we need to fulfill these 5 features in central incisor, lateral incisor, and canines. If we use the computer like the CAD/CAM over the materials, how do we make it happen in very quick way? So I want to give you some example to demonstrate that concept. We have in total 5 dental technicians, and I know on the screen just 4. Another one is the Serene Asia's dental technician, and this 4 is my clinic's dental technicians. You can see this picture. The tooth 2-1 the tooth 2-1 is the restoration, still finished in 1 day. We call this biocopy. We can mirror this central incisor to another one. From line angle, from incisive impression. And this is another case. This is another 2-1. This is, of course, just single restoration. And this is tooth 1-1. This is also 1 visit dentistry. So we deliver, so we clean the resin cement, and the gingiva may look redness. You can see this incisor edge is as translucent as the neighbor teeth. If you make 6 restoration, 8 restoration, that is more easier. But if you just make 1 anterior restoration, that is very difficult. And I want to mention, all our restoration is monolithic, just stain and glaze. We do not use any layering technique, because if you use layering technique, you cannot finish one day. And another point, if you use layering technique, technician will request a model, correct? They need a model. So you need to impression the patients. You need to take the impression and pull out a model. That time consuming. Some dental technician may also request a dye. They need to separate the dye to look clearly the margin so that they can perform a scan or the waist up to biocopy to the CEREC and then make duplicate on the machine. Also time consuming. So all our case is just stain and glaze. That's why the Vita's blog helped us a lot. And this is another one. This is the tooth 11. This tooth is coloration because of the post-root canal treatment. And we need to mask this tooth to make it just the same as the neighbor one. All stain and glaze, no layering. And this tooth, 1, 2 is also finished in one visit. This is the demonstration of the preparation of that piece, and this is the delivery. Just one day. And on the posterior piece, the same. If I do this 4, 5 single crown, I still can have the same restoration, the color, and some attrition pattern on the tooth or occlusal surface, just like the neighbor, with stain and glaze, with the correct material selection. How about these two? If we use the same technique from one central incisor to 2 central incisors, and these 2 central incisors, stain and glaze is quite simple for every dentist because we relied on layering technique too long. It's time to go further to use the external stain to meet the needs of one visit dentistry. How about 6? We can do more and more restoration and make it beautiful. This is before and this is after. So no matter we start from 1 to 6 or just 2, how about 10 in one day? This is a tetracycline stain and some discoloration, old filling, caries, decay. We have the root canal treatment finished, and now we have the 10 restoration in one day. Perhaps some dentists have the question about 10 restoration because the 10 restoration it sounds like a big number. In one day you need to finish because the mini machine is the gap. The mini machine meal about 10 to 15 minutes per restoration. If you got 10 restoration, you need about 150 minutes to meal. After the milling process finish, you can proceed your post-milling procedure like enhance the surface texture, enhance the line angle, stain and glaze. That is a lot of work and time consuming. You cannot finish in one day, right? But in our clinic, we have 15 milling machines. So 15 milling machine means if you just have only 10 restorations, we can mill it at the same time. So the total milling time will be 15 minutes, not 115 minutes. So we can just wait for 15 minutes and we can proceed the rest of the process. So of course, we can finish in 1 day because we have plenty of milling machine. And because these kinds of the patient demand is still increased, they want to enjoy their life, not spending time in dental clinic. They want to just come, have the visit, have the treatment plan, and then finish the treatment, not to come and come again. So this is the somehow we call it the business model, and patient want to have also aligner. We can start from today. We can have the scan, also CAD, and we can set 2 aligners today that the patient start the treatment. If the orthodontic specialist agree this treatment, that will let the patient have the 2 aligners to start. And if the patient wants the implant treatment, that will be delayed because we need to plan the implant angulation position, and we need to check the hard tissue condition, and we need to mill the guide. Although the guide milling time is short, about 55 minutes per guide, but if you need plenty more implant at the same time, we will postpone, not finish in 1 day. This is the only treatment we will not start from 1 day. So I want to go to more details with more cases, and this will lead us to the conclusion. How do we use the block, especially in aesthetic anterior region? Let's start from another one piece. This patient come to clinic. She want to repair this tooth 1-1. Of course, post root canal treatment, so they have the discoloration. The photo is very important for CEREC or digital dentistry dentist to communicate with your lab. If you just take this photo and this photo only, even you have your shared guide, the dental technician still cannot tell where is your enamel translucency area. This photo is white, no translucency at all. You need to tilt your camera so that the dental technician can see through from this photo. This is the dentine and the rest is enamel. And they know how to adjust the block, how to choose the block, how to align the block in CEREC. If you do not photo the right one, you force your lab to do your anterior restoration by layering technique because they do not have enough information. So they use the most comfortable way for themselves, that is layering. So every time you communicate with your lab, they will always tell you, please let me use the carpet layering. You can use the image, you can use the zirconia. Never mind the outside for the patient. The outside of this restoration, the buccal side, always layering. Layering is always beautiful, I know. But because we lack of the guide to select the right material, we lack of the guide to have the correct photo. So we need to establish this protocol today for all of you. And then this is material. When we go into the material selection, for this patient, we use the Vita Real Life. Real Life is a very unique restoration material. If we put the light transition into this block, you can see upper part is very translucent and the lower part is less translucent, right? And the color distribution is also different. The upper part is white under the light, and the lower part is light yellow under the light in one block. So we can tilt this block to distribute this light and this light yellow in the right position. So you need to take the photo and then the anatomy. When we scan, we can see some information from your screen. For example, you can see the line angle. You can tilt and you can see some developmental groove and the lobe. And then you can mill out the restoration from the mini machine and adjust a little in the line angle to make it stronger. And of course, you need hand adjustment. If you want to use the hand adjustment, you need a very special bird. And that kind of bird, in this picture, this is a normal bird we can use in technician's handpiece. But in our clinic, we recommend you use the dentist high-speed bird, because the high-speed bird is very small and have large of the size you can choose, and lots of the shape you can choose from. But how do you make your high-speed bird into your lab's handpiece? They have the adapter. You can buy the adapter. So we can use a very tall bird from the dentist, and then we adjust on the buccal surface of the restoration to make it more vivid. And this about every single restoration just take us 5 minutes to finish, because this is whole standard operation procedure. We can see from the patient's tooth, you can see a very strong developmental lobes. And in between will be developmental groove and some transverse groove on the tooth surface. So we can duplicate this surface texture on the restoration. So this is the standard draw by our training center. The two-line form, two-line angle, transverse groove, and this is the developmental groove. And then comes from the most important part. Not just the anatomy. That's quite simple. The most difficult part is inciso. In this photo, I've mentioned before, the dental technician cannot tell where is inciso edge. Of course, you can see here, here's the inciso edge, but dental technician want to look through the translucency, so you need to change the color. Now, you see the translucency, right? And then they can use the correct stent, like the Vita Stent Plus, to stent on this region. Just this region, not go up to the gingiva third, just here. And the dental technician need to see the range, need to see the distribution. And the inciso edge divided in 3 categories: marble type, box type, and devil head type. This patient is marble type. The stent and glaze technique can conquer marble type and box type, and we cannot tell the patient we can finish your anterior restoration if the patient have the devil head type inciso edge translucency pattern. So only one pattern. I cannot finish in one day. I must use layering technique is devil head type inside storage pattern. So this patient is Marvelon type. So yeah, I can finish in one day. And because the light transmission in the natural teeth have the enamel and dentin, so I want to have a material just mimic this characteristic of the light transmission. Translucent and less translucent dentin. Translucent is enamel. So this material beta real life. Now, after we stand, we can mimic. Here is the inside storage translucent area. Here is the body stand. If you say this color this tooth, when you take in the shade, color matching, you say this is 1 and 2. The shade guide is 1 and 2. Where is the 1 and 2 stand? Where? Here? Here? No, in the middle, in the center of the piece, right? This is the most high value portion when you take in your shade guide to compare your shade and to pick up a correct shade guide. So this we call the body stand. This we call the inside storage stand. So if you pick up a shade tab, and that's the 1 and 2, use the 1 and 2 stand here, and the rest you need to stand translucency. But you need to know the range. You need to know the type. So after we stand, no layering, just stand and glaze. This is tooth 1, 1, this is tooth 2, 1. You can see this is the way we stand. We always have the photo in front of our dental technician's table. And then we try in delivery day. This is before, and this is the follow-up when the gingiva regain their health. This is single tooth stand and glaze. Use Vita restorations. That is basically on the knowledge of the enamel and dentin and the area is quite simple. And another case, more complicated, we can do more. This patient comes to the office. She complained about my tooth is short. I have diastema, black triangle. I have the gap in between 1, 2 and 1, 3. In total, I am not satisfied with my anterior teeth, both on the alignment and the tooth color. And of course, the proportion, the tooth proportion. So we proceed aesthetic counseling with the one lace. And this is before, and this is after we just cut out of just about 1 millimeter gingiva and waiting for heal. This time we need waiting for heal. After gingiva become healed, we can proceed the 1 busy treatment. And here I will talk more about this chart. So I just skip here. This is the ideal tooth alignment and proportion patient wanted. So we use the mock-up and then scan as the biocopy. And this is the proposal. And after we lightly adjustment, we compare these two. And then we can use some function in CEREC. But today, the key point is not CEREC. So I will go quickly. We can align in central incisor, lateral incisor, and canine, and of course the proportion. Because this patient strongly asking for a golden proportion. She wants a beautiful proportion. And she mentioned again and again, So we need to use the grid to check is the proportion correct. Otherwise, the patient will be upset. And this time, because the patient have another request, that means I want my tooth look white, but not opaque, white and translucent. This patient wants these two characteristics at the same time, white and translucent. The best material we use to meet the need, like the patient said, white and translucent, will almost link to the Trilux. Because white is here, and translucent is here. And we use the special stain technique. And I will describe more detail in afternoon sections. We have the 3-step, and we call it in 3D stain technique. That's in conclusion just 3 steps. That is very easy part. When we finish our stain and glaze, this crown is like layering crown. So I put in the 3D print model. I do not regularly use the 3D print model, but this 6 restoration already bumped in patient's mouth and take away. So I need to redo and then print it as the demonstration. So when we finish this all 6 stain and glaze technique, we deliver and clean the cement and wait for heal. That's the 2 weeks follow. This is the new proportion from below after gingivectomy and instead crown lengthening and finish. Of course, we close the gap here. This is a smile from the patient. Somebody may concern that the stain and glaze look black or look not as good a layering technique. But in the lateral view of the lip, you can see that this is how we call the 3D stain technique. We can step up to your incisive impression. So every dentist or technician, if you want to use stain technique to stain your incisal edge to make it look like the translucency one, you need to be aware. Do not stop your stain on just incisal edge. You need to draw it up to this point. We call the ICP, interdental contact point, to make the translucent have the transition, not to very quickly stop on one surface, and that will look ugly. So lots of the dental lab will have the comment in stain technique. They will say the stain technique is ugly, layering is better. I agree, but we can use the stain as close as layering technique, because stain and glaze just take us 5 to 10 minutes, but layering technique take the dental technician 1 hour. That is very big difference. So before we have the break time, I want to go to a very special cases. And because this case, in this August, I have I'm in here and have a very short presentation to let this case expose, but lots of detail I do not reveal in this August. And now I will reveal the all detail in this presentation. This case absolutely need 1 visit dentistry because you are going to be a bridesmaid the next day. So she will become somebody's mad in the next day. The reason why she met me just before her big day is just because I'm too busy. She waited a long time to get the appointment, and unfortunately, this appointment is just before the day she will become the bridesmaid. So I'm so sorry. And this lady give us lots of requests. I see some gingival recession here. I see some discoloration, all feeling, the wrong tooth proportion, the irregular incisal length, and incisal edge position is also ugly. No translucent incisal edge. We can tell lots of the problem on the patient anterior teeth. But the patient said, dentist, doctor, please do not trauma my gingiva, and I cannot tolerate any sensitive. Please light as you can to prep my tooth. I want to white teeth, and nature, white nature. She always mentioned, I need a white teeth, but not Hollywood white. I want a very beautiful white teeth and natural looking. Do not prep my teeth. Do not use anesthesia, because if you eject my lip on the mucosa, and the next day I may have the swelling, and I will be the bridesmaid, So do not do any traumatic things. And she Googled a lot of information. She mentioned about do not use your gingiva core. If you taking your gingiva core on my sulcus, I may feel pain. And because no anesthesia, and if you use that's the gingiva cord, if I'm bleeding, next day I will have the ugly looking gingiva. And I sure recommend this lady, would you please use the also treatment to correct the whole aesthetic zone, and you can proceed after bridesmaid. Okay, you can have some root coverage here to make the proportion correct. But this lady say, doctor, I forget to tell you, I don't accept any surgery. I don't accept orthodontic treatment. And in that day, that's in the morning. And after I took this photo, she mentioned another scenario to me. By the way, doctor, would you please correct my flared out central incisor? I want to make it straight. Of course, do not use also. I have no time. 1 day left. Do not put any anesthesia. Of course, do not prep my teeth too much. But I want my tooth straight. And of course, white and natural. I know, doctor, you can do it in 1 day, right? So I say, let me think it twice. But I know the trick. I know how to transform this to the patient desire and still fulfill the whole patient's need. So this is go to the start point, incisal edge evaluation. This is the first step. I evaluate every patient. Can I finish in 1 day or not? So this is box type because I cannot tell any translucency from her incisal edge. So just use the simple way box type. The Marvello type is more beautiful, but time consuming. So I will use the most convenient way for us, box type. The patient want to correct these two frailties, these two centuries procline. She want the ritual climb. So the tip and trick is one here. If I close this large incisive embrasure, perhaps the patient will consider the tooth straight, not flare out. The too small procline, the incisive embrasure will larger. And if I close this incisive embrasure to the normal range, perhaps the patient will consider it looks straight. This is just one tip. We have more to conquer this patient. Because after all, the patient do not accept any, she just say minimum invasive preparation. She Googled a lot. Minimum invasive preparation. Dentist, you know? Doctor, you know? Stay on enamel. Okay, I see. You are dentist, right? Okay. So this is the color she picked. 1M1. And I say, oh, this white. Yeah, I like white is a natural, you know? And you need your incisor translucent. Oh, okay. And I know it's very difficult to fulfill. And I will talk more about this chart, so don't worry about that. I will go through the chart, how to set in this chart, how to choose the right material from the beginning. I want to manage the outline form or the tooth alignment, how to recline the anterior. This is the tip and trick here. I just add lots of material on the gingiva third on both central. And of course, I will have less material cover on the incisor and middle third. To look nicer, I add the rest teeth. The material will more thick on the original piece. And to align this edge alignment, to make the two central have the cervical more material and the incisor less material will look straight. Ritual climb. And then I add more material on the lateral and the canine and the first premolar to add them out thicker, a little, about 0.8 millimeter to align it better, to make the two central incisor look straight, because the others wider, thicker, just thicker about 0.8 millimeter. So in the occlusal view, you can see this is the original. This is the original biocopy. This is the her teeth, and the white one you will see some material penetrate from the teeth. This is incisor I peeled. And again, we align with grid and final check. And then we can export ST file, then print this model. And you can mill this 8 veneer, this we call very thin veneer, not super thin, very thin veneer. In 15 minutes, because we have 15 machine, right? Just 8, still 15 minutes. And we can check the margin integrity. The easy way for us to check the final result after milling is to simply zoom in to see the margin. The margin is still intact after milling. And now we are ready to remove the screw and then finish the screw after we remove. And we can check the margin. You need to pay attention. Do not trauma to your margin when you remove your screw. And then you can proceed with, we call that contouring. And we use the very small feature or rumble to enhance the surface texture here. And this is the result when we finish contouring every single restoration. This is just about 5 minutes. This is a very quick way. You spur, you use the loop, see through the angle you want, and just cut it. Remove is very fast. If you want to add the material on the top of the buckle surface, time consuming, we call that layering. Add is time consuming. Remove is very fast. So we can check the contouring outcome on the restoration. This is photo by just camera, not the microscope. This just use camera. And then we can proceed stain glazing. And we will go more detail on stain glazing in this afternoon. And then we have the 3D print model for the tooth preparation. This is not necessary to print every model after you scan. But if you want to make over 6 anterior restoration at once, I recommend that you can print like this one to finish the restoration adjustment, because this data is direct export from your CEREC. And I want to mention the point. There is a very big difference between print model and impression model. Print model is direct export the prep ST file, so your restoration can perfectly fit in. And if you take the impression model is often needed to make the die and pin in the model to try in. Otherwise, the restoration may be blocked off by some interference from stone model. So you need to take time to remove the interference on the stone model so that you can put your restoration fit in your stone model. So impression model is not recommended when you do 6-8 restoration. Please use the pre-model. And this is the preparation, and this is the pre-model. And you can check the pre-model. They have a very clear margin as I prep in the patient's teeth. So the pre-model already can appear very clear margin. This is not a very loosey one. Now, we put the restoration into the model, and if you have some other CAD software, it has the function you can make the die automatically when you print. You see, these two abutments, I pull it out, and I can put it back. This is automatically print. So after printing, you clean, you vacuum, and you can print out. You can pull out the abutment and put it back. This is very convenient for us. So now you can check the margin one by one. And then, when you finish your stain and glazing, you can check the balance. Of course, again, we all use monolithic, no layering. Oh, okay, let's complete the journey from the CAD to CAM, then contouring. We almost just use the intraoral scan after tooth preparation in every case and direct proceed to the CEREC CAD, not through impression. This is the start point from the patient design, and then I deliver it in the night, at the night. And I have do my best to have the less trauma on the patient's gingiva, even though I clean the whole breathing cement. If I trauma to the patient's teeth and gingiva, she will very angry. She's an angry woman. Okay, so I deliver it in one visit. This is before, and this is the after. This is delivery day, so you can see here the gingiva. I use a little trauma, right? A little. How about the ritual climb? This is before. This is after. I visually let the patient consider this tooth is not free out. I ritual climb, but I use the tips I have mentioned above. So it look more straight than before because I shape the line angle. I close the incisive impression. And I add the material on the gingiva third. I decrease the material on the incisal edge. I do less of the work to minimize my preparation and of course let the patient feel more comfortable. So this is the 12 o'clock at before, and this is 12 o'clock after. So I say, here is the trick. Incisive impression, I close it as much as I can. And tooth will more straight. So she went to, with this final result in one day, she went to the wedding and she didn't have to be still conscious about her smile. And about 1 month later, she came back, have the final follow-up. Here. This is the final follow-up. And the gingiva look nicely, and the margin adapt quite well. I made a restoration in one visit. So it's mainly come from the correct material selection, the correct skill from your CEREC, and the correct post-meal procedure. So in these 4 cases, perhaps you can learn one thing, that if you understand the outline form, the developmental groove, lobe transverse groove, and the line angle distribution, you can control your anterior aesthetic with the right material. So after the break time, and the break time will be 30 minutes? 30 minutes? Okay. I believe the audience is tired. So we will take a rest of about 30 minutes and we'll come back.